Adebayo, a skilled market seller in a bustling Lagos marketplace, gains unexpected notoriety when his manhood is exposed during a public confrontation. Adebayo was a natural in the bustling Lagos marketplace. With his silver tongue, charismatic smile, and uncanny ability to sell anything, he had earned the nickname Adabo the Magnificent star. Every woman who passed his stall found herself lingering longer than necessary, captivated by his charm. Men envied his confidence, and children followed him around like ducklings. But everything changed one chaotic afternoon when a scuffle broke out between Adebayo and a jealous rival trader. In the heat of the argument, his loose agbada snagged on a nail, tearing dramatically. What was revealed beneath left the marketplace in stunned silence, followed by gasps and muffled laughter. News of Adebayo's extraordinary gift spread faster than the smoke from a suya stand. By the next morning, Adebayo's name was on everyone's lips. Women whispered in awe, men joked uneasily, and the marketplace became a hive of gossip. At first, Adebayo found the attention flattering. He noticed the growing number of women frequenting his stall, some purchasing items they clearly didn't need. It didn't take long for Adebayo to recognize the power of his newfound fame. He began to lean into the attention, exchanging flirtatious words and making bold promises. Married women came under the pretense of buying vegetables, but their lingering gazes betrayed their true intentions. Adebayo, reveling in his influence, found it hard to resist their advances. What began as innocent banter quickly spiraled into something far more reckless. As days turned to weeks, Adebayo began to use his reputation as a tool to attract women. He became a master of seduction, tailoring his charm to suit each woman's vulnerability. Unmarried girls blushed at his compliments, while married women, weary of inattentive husbands, fell for his sweet words and promises of passion. Soon, Adebayo was juggling multiple affairs, each more dangerous than the last. One evening, a prominent trader's wife arrived at his stall after dark. "Adebayo," she whispered, her eyes gleaming with desire, "I've heard the stories. Show me if they're true." Adebayo hesitated briefly before giving in, unaware that her husband was already suspicious. It wasn't long before Adebayo's escapades began to attract trouble. A group of men confronted him in the marketplace one morning, their eyes burning with anger. "Stay away from our wives," one shouted, but Adebayo laughed it off. He believed he was untouchable. That night, as he celebrated another conquest, a mysterious elder appeared at his doorstep. The man's piercing gaze silenced Adebayo's laughter. "Young man," the elder began, "do you think your gift is meant for this? Your path is leading to destruction, and you will not see it until it is too late." But Adebayo dismissed the elder as another jealous busybody. He was too blinded by his success to heed the warning. What he didn't know was that his actions were about to unleash a series of events that would shatter his world. Adebayo's fame had reached every corner of Lagos. His affairs were no longer secret. They had become the stuff of scandalous tales whispered in markets, bars, and churches. Yet, Adebayo basked in the chaos he had created, confident that his charm could shield him from any consequence. One day, a young woman named Tolani approached him at his stall. She was different, calm, confident, and unshaken by his reputation. She came to buy fabric but left him with a warning. "Not all gifts bring blessings, Adebayo. Be careful what you sow." Her words unsettled him, but he quickly pushed the thought aside. That evening, however, he couldn't shake the sense that something was about to change. Adebayo's downfall began with the jealous husband of one of his lovers, Alhaja Mariam. The man, a wealthy and influential politician, set a trap for Adebayo. During what Adebayo thought was a secret meeting with Mariam, the husband stormed in with armed men. Dragged out into the street, Adebayo was beaten and humiliated. The politician declared his infidelity to the gathered crowd, stripping him of the aura of invincibility he had so carefully crafted. While Adebayo nursed his wounds that night, he realized that his charm and fame were no longer his shields, they had become weapons others could use against him. The incident with the politician triggered a domino effect. Women who had once admired Adebayo began to gossip about his behavior. Some fabricated stories to save face, while others recounted the truths he had hoped to bury. His once thriving stall suffered as men refused to trade with him, and women avoided his lingering gaze. Desperate to regain control, Adebayo spun lies to defend himself. But the more he lied, the deeper his troubles grew. He began to feel the weight of his decisions, but his pride wouldn't allow him to admit his mistakes. One night, as Adebayo sat alone in his dimly lit room, the elder who had warned him weeks ago appeared again. "I told you this gift was not ordinary," the man said, his voice calm but firm. "You've used it selfishly, and now the spirits demand balance. Your punishment has only begun." This time, Adebayo didn't laugh. He begged the elder for answers, but the man simply shook his head. "Humility is the only path to redemption, Adebayo. Until you learn, you will lose everything you hold dear." The elder's warning manifested in strange ways. Adebayo's charm began to fade. Women who once adored him now found his presence uncomfortable. His voice, once his most potent tool, seemed to lack its former magnetism. One day, as he stood in the marketplace, he realized he could no longer attract customers. His reputation had soured so much that even strangers avoided his stall. Adebayo had never felt so powerless. Broken and humiliated, Adebayo decided to leave Lagos for a while. He traveled to a small village where no one knew him. There, he found work on a farm, earning barely enough to survive. For the first time in his life, he had to rely on hard work rather than charm. The experience humbled him, and he began to reflect on his actions. Adebayo realized how many lives he had disrupted with his selfishness. He vowed to change, but the road to redemption would not be easy. Adebayo returned to Lagos, carefully avoiding the marketplace where his reputation had been tarnished. After asking around, he found the elder in a secluded shrine on the outskirts of the city. The man greeted him with a knowing smile, as though he had been expecting Adebayo. "Do you now understand the weight of your gift?" the elder asked. Adebayo nodded. "I do, but I don't know how to make things right." The elder sighed and began to recount an ancient tale. "Your gift is not yours alone, Adebayo. It comes from your ancestors, who once wielded great power but used it selfishly. Their actions angered the spirits, who cursed your bloodline. Every generation, one of your kin inherits this gift, and with it, the burden to atone for the sins of the past." Adebayo listened intently, the weight of the revelation sinking in. "What must I do?" he asked. "You must seek forgiveness from those you have wronged and use your gift for good. Only then can the curse be lifted." Adebayo began the difficult task of confronting his past. His first step was to apologize to those he had wronged. Armed with the elder's words and a growing sense of humility, he visited the homes of women whose lives he had disrupted. At Al-Haja Mariam's house, he was greeted with a mixture of anger and skepticism. "What do you want here, Adebayo?" she asked sharply, her voice trembling with emotion. "I came to apologize," Adebayo said earnestly. "I know I caused you and your family pain. My actions were selfish, and I regret them deeply." For a moment, there was silence. Then Mariam sighed, the tension in her shoulders easing. "You can't undo the damage, but your apology is a start. I hope you've truly learned from this." Some encounters were not as forgiving. One woman refused to speak to him, slamming the door in his face. Another publicly berated him, reminding him of the humiliation he had brought upon her family. Each meeting chipped away at Adebayo's pride, but he faced them all with humility, determined to make amends. As the weeks went by, Adebayo returned to the marketplace to rebuild his life. His stall, once abandoned, was now a symbol of redemption. He worked tirelessly to restore its former glory, focusing on selling quality goods at fair prices. At first, people were hesitant to approach him. They whispered and pointed, their trust still shaken. But Adebayo's perseverance began to win them over. He treated everyone with respect, from the youngest apprentice to the oldest trader. One day, he encountered Tolani in the marketplace. She had been observing his transformation from afar, and when she approached him, her expression was warm. "You've changed, Adebayo," she said softly. "I've had to," he replied. "I'm not proud of who I was, but I'm trying to be better." Tolani nodded. "It shows. Keep walking this path." Adebayo took her words to heart, continuing to focus on his growth. As he regained the trust of the marketplace community, he also began mentoring young traders. He shared his knowledge, teaching them how to navigate the challenges of the business with integrity and hard work. To strengthen the sense of community, Adebayo organized events that brought the traders together. He proposed pooling resources to repair the marketplace and hosting festivals to attract more customers. His efforts were met with resistance at first, but his sincerity eventually won over even the most skeptical traders. One evening, as Adebayo and Tolani strolled through the bustling marketplace, he turned to her with a serious expression. "Tolani," he said, "I wouldn't be here without you. You've been my anchor, my voice of reason. Will you stand by me, not just as a partner in this community, but as my partner in life?" Tolani smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "Yes, Adebayo, I will." Their union was celebrated by the marketplace community, a symbol of Adebayo's redemption and the strength of humility. The elder visited Adebayo once more, his expression warm and approving. "You have done well, Adebayo," he said. "The spirits are at peace. The curse is lifted." Adebayo bowed in gratitude. "Thank you, Baba. I will continue to honor this gift and the lessons it has taught me." With the curse lifted, Adebayo's life entered a new chapter. He and Tolani became pillars of the community, mentoring young traders and fostering unity. The marketplace thrived, not because of charm or manipulation, but because of honesty and collaboration. Adebayo's story became a lesson for future generations. No matter how far one falls, redemption is always possible through humility, hard work, and a commitment to change.